Okay, welcome to another live grading session with OG. This is Mike. All right, first off, I want to give a shout out to our Muay Thai coach. Thank you for submitting your cards. To Muay Thai coach. All right, so first up, we have a Shohei Ohtani. We have a 2020 Topps Chrome Pink Refractor. Really nice. Okay, so this card does not have any defined borders or centering points. So therefore, I will be using the eye appeal standard to determine the centering eligibility of this card. And this card passes. This card is Gem Mint eligible. Okay. Okay, so just a glance over the card. To be a little bit of dust. Maybe a dimple. We'll look at that closer. Okay, so let's get to inspecting. This is a 10x magnifying glass. I will be using this to inspect the card. And I have a fixed magnifying glass that I will bring in front of the camera to help show any issues that I see. All right, so let's start. I'll start by looking at the corners down through the edges. That's the first area of inspection. Okay, 4 sharp corners look really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to inspect the surface. As you can see, this magnifying glass has a nice light on it. Looks to be a minor dimple right here. We'll look at that together. I think that's dust. Yep, it's a piece of dust. Okay, scanning the surface of the card all the way down. Oh, sorry. No, it's another little bit of dust. Okay, so inspecting with the light on. Now I will do the same thing with the light off. See if anything stands out. And there looks to be a minor surface irregularity near his face. Very minor. Minor dimple there. Minor surface irregularity. Okay, that looks to be about it. And there's minor surface irregularity down here, like a little delamination spot. Let's just double check under my thumb. And just that little bit of dust. Okay, so I'll bring over the fixed magnifying glass so we can look at everything together. Okay, so the first minor issue was this minor dimple right above my thumb. And then it's really difficult to see. There's a surface irregularity, a little circular surface irregularity on his cheek. Let's see if I can get that to show up. Very minor. Kind of see it right there. It's a very small, very minor, tough to make out. And then this last minor little delamination, little surface irregularity, a little white spot down there. Let's see if get the focus. Right by my finger, there's that one little white spot. The other one is just a little dust. Right there. Very minor. All right, let's inspect the back of this card. Okay. Okay, so of course I'm going to start checking the corners and the edges as well. Make sure that they look just as good from the back as they do from the front. Okay, they look good. All right, now let's inspect the back surface. Okay, light was on. Now let's turn the light off. And then double check underneath my thumb. Okay, the back of this card had no issues, nothing that I could see. Okay, so let's review this card. This card had a very few minor surface irregularities and dimple on the front. Because of that, this card grades as a Gem Mint 10. Okay, let's mark that up. Move on to the next card. Okay, so up next is another Shohei Ohtani. We have an Ohtani International Affair. This is the 2018 Topps Chrome update. Okay, so similar to the last card, there's no defined borders. So this card, I will be using the eye appeal standard to determine the centering. And this card passes. Okay, so let's get to grading. This card is Gem Mint eligible, passing the eye appeal standard. Okay, let's just give this card a quick glance. Appears to be possibly a minor scratch, minor dimple. Okay, so let's get to inspecting this card. Again, I'm starting with my 10x magnifying glass on the corners, running down through the edges. Okay, that looks nice. Corners all look good. Of course, if your cards are submitted and there's a small amount of dust, that's understandable. We can blow that off our graders. But if they're actually dirty, then we will detract points for that. Okay, so now I'll inspect the surface. The corners were great. and the edges, there was no issues. This would be a couple small scratches up here in the top right. The surface irregularity also in the top right. Another minor surface irregularity near the center. A minor scratch here on the right. Okay, that's with the light on. Let's turn the light off. Okay, looks like a small smudge up here as well. Top right. Okay, and I'll check underneath my thumb. This will be a small dimple in the center. Okay, so very few minor indications on the front of this card. Let's inspect the back of the card. Okay, again, I will start with the corners. Oh, you know what? Sorry about that, everybody. I will show you the minor issues under the fixed magnifying glass. Okay, so up here, top right, there is a minor surface irregularity in that little ring in the tops. And then along next to it on the right as well, there is a small amount of like smudging surface irregularity is there as well. Let's see if it shows up. It's a little hidden by, there we go. Very minor, not easily visible. Okay, then right in the center of the uniform, there's a minor dimple. Let's get the focus. Okay, it's right in the center, a little white spot next to my thumb beneath the A. Okay, and then a minor surface irregularity next to the uniform as well. Okay, and then down at the bottom right, there is a minor scratch. See, it's very small, not easily visible. Out of the way. Minor scratch. Okay, so just a few minor surface discontinuities. Okay, now let's inspect the back of the card. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the corners down through the edges. Looking for any flaring or thickness issues. Possibly some ink issues, but that's rare. And again, they still look fine from the back, just as they did from the front. Okay, so let's inspect the back now. Okay, light on, light off. It's nice to have the light off after using the light on. It sometimes just shows a few different indications that are not visible. The light hits it differently, and you'll see more of the card. Okay, so the back of this card was very clean. All right, so let's review this card. The front of this card has very few minor issues, but it's still very clean. The back was clean. It had the 4 sharp corners. But because of the minor issues on the front of this card grades as a mint 9. This card is mint. Okay. Up next, if you notice in the description, is a Marvel card. All right, so up next, we have Thanos. This is a 1990 Marvel Universe, sometimes Marvel Impel Marvel Universe. Really nice card. This card does have a very defined border, and so I will be measuring that. Use my digital caliper. Okay. Okay, I'll start putting in the numbers, and then let's see what the centering is. I'll be checking left and right centering, and then top and bottom, and those are the ratios that we'll be basing the card's potential grade on. Okay, so I might have to move it a little funny just so that I can get an accurate measurement. Sorry. Hopefully there's still a certain amount visible. Just a second. Pull up the sheet. Okay, sorry about that. I'm unable to do the calculation in my head, so I have a program to help me. Okay, 347 measured in millimeters. Okay, that's the left, and then the right. It's pretty cool. They have the Thanos's power bleeding out from the edge of the border. Pretty nice. Cool design. Okay, 3.06. Okay, that's a 53-47 centering. It's a nice left-right centering. Okay, now I'll check top and bottom. And of course, I'm measuring this through the semi-rigid case. We do not want to damage the card with our caliper. Oh. Okay, 3.25. Right, 282. Okay, that's a 54-46 centering. is within our standard for Gem Mint. So this card is Gem Mint eligible by centering. Okay, so let's get to inspecting the card. So I'll start again with my 10x magnifying glass, inspecting the corners, run down the edges to the corners. Clean. Good. Last edge. Nice. No, nothing noticeable. Corners look sharp. Edges look clean. Okay, so now I'm going to inspect the surface. Minor print error up here, a little bit of ink. I'll blow it just in case that's some kind of colored dust. No, it's not. Minor little ink spot. Printing error. Card looks clean, no scratches, dimples. All right, inspect with the, oh, there's another minor print error on the left here as well. We'll look at that together with the fixed magnifying glass. I'll turn the light off. Okay, now I'll check underneath my thumb, the center of the card mostly. Again, light on, light off. Try to see every feasible way the indication could hide. Okay, so let's look at those two minor printing errors, minor print errors. Top left, there is a little ink spot. Hopefully it's not washed out. You can see it next to the Marvel Comics area. Let's get the angle just right. There we go. It's pretty clear. Not perfect. Let me just fix my grip. So it's next to that edge. Okay, and then the second minor area, minor print error is that little dark spot. See, it's a little washed out by the light. All right, I'm going to try something. See if the focus, see if the light changes. Little tiny dark spot. Doesn't translate perfect over the camera, but you can definitely see it. Okay. So let's inspect the back of this card now. Again, I'm going to start with the corners. Just to make the corners and edges to make sure that they still look clean from the back. They usually do. Although sometimes changing the angle does change what's visible. Okay, so the corners again look great, but I could see another two minor print errors. Little smudges. Okay, there's one up here. It's visible. We'll look at that together with the fixed magnifying glass. Okay, another. Let's see if that's just dust. Another minor one up here. Down near the bottom, there's another one and minor dimple on the surface, bottom right. It's a little concerning. It's near the corner, but it doesn't appear to be a thickness issue. We'll look at that closely together. Okay, so that's light on. Now let's move the light off. Okay, and then double check underneath my thumb. Nope, looks very clean. Okay, so let's look at the those couple of issues together. So right up here is the most visible print error. You can see that one at the top. There's another minor one. Again, that was minor as well. They're all, you can see they're actually very almost difficult to see without magnification. They don't stand out. And down here, minor ink spot. This card is really very clean. Just have, and then there's a minor, you can see a little tiny dimple on the surface near the corner, but carefully, as you can see as I inspected the corners, that little tiny dimple at the bottom right does not actually affect the thickness of this card. There's no flaring. So the minor dimple that's down there is only considered a surface. It is a surface issue. Let's get the angle right. You see it's a very sharp corner. Okay, so let's review this card. This card was a really nice card. Had pretty good centering, and it just had a few minor issues on the front and the back. Because of those minor issues, this card grades as a mint 9. Okay, awesome card. Let me just record that. Okay, up next, we have a Derek Jeter. It's a pretty cool card. Topps Finest, 2011 Topps Finest. Finest Foundation. It's the orange refractor. Okay, so this card does not have any defined borders. And I will be using the eye appeal standard to determine the grade of this, or the centering of this card. This is a fairly strict standard, but it is accepting of an artist's choice. So the card appears to have everything lined up, and it passes the eye appeal standard, and this card is gem mint eligible. Okay, so let's inspect this card. Okay, just giving it a once over to see if anything stands out. Looks to be maybe a minor dimple bottom left. look at that, of course, closer under magnification. Make sure that that's accurate. All right, so let's get to inspecting this card. Start again with the corners, running down through the edges. Okay, this corner does appear to have a minor curve to it, giving it a minor flare. It's very minor. The corner itself is sharp. It's not a soft corner, but it is flared. We'll look at that together under magnification, with the fixed magnifying glass. And we'll double check it. Okay, so let's go across the surface now. Then we'll look at that corner and any other issues if I find any. We have a couple minor dimple right here. And possibly a minor dimple in that same corner that has the minor flare. Now it looks like it's just dust. It all blew off. It's very nice. Another minor dimple up here. Okay, now I'll inspect the light off. It's a very clean card. 2011. Okay, and I'll check underneath my thumb. Okay, so there was only a couple very minor dimples on the front, but it does have a minor flare at the one corner. So let's look at all that together. Okay, so this bottom left corner has the minor flare. Just a second, sorry. Okay, so looking at this corner as it turns, the focus works. Let's get it just right. I have to move the card distance. It tilts back just a little bit. Really nice, but just that minor flare. And you can see from the back, which we'll inspect in a minute, there's even a slight chip at that same corner. Okay. Then there's two minor dimples. They're both really center right. See, the one is it is arm height. There's the one. You can see it in the ring. And then the other one is just a little bit lower, right about there. Very minor, but a few. Okay, so let's inspect the back of this card now. Okay, again, I will double check the corners and the edges. Okay, so then this was the corner with the minor flare. Okay, let's inspect the surface. Couple of minor surface irregularities top left. Couple more bottom left. Okay, let's turn the light off, and then I will inspect underneath my thumb. Okay, and then under my thumb. Okay, so just these, the back was very nice. Just with a couple of minor surface irregularities. It's top left, and then of course actually that chip, which I had mentioned earlier. We'll look at that again. So just those little minor dimply chips right there, surface irregularities, and then again here, some surface irregularities, minor, and then that from the back, the corner that had the minor flare. You can see a minor chip. It's very minor. Okay, so let's review this card. So this card had a couple of surface issues and one minor flare. It's still a really great card. So because of those minor issues and the minor flare, this card grades as an 8, near mint to mint. Okay, let's record that. All right, the last card of the evening, we have a Tyler Herro Crusade. Okay, it's a pretty nice basketball card. 2019-2020 Panini Chronicles Crusade. Okay, so this card is a little different than the Marvel card with a border, but of course it does have a left and right mirror image of each other. Top and bottom, of course, are very different. So top and bottom, I will have to look at it carefully for eye appeal. But then left and right, I'm able to measure. Top and bottom do pass. Top and bottom pass. Okay, so now let's inspect left and right. On a border like this, I will be picking points that meet that are equivalent on the opposite side. Okay, digital caliper. Let's pull up my program. Again, if I'm a little bit off, I'm sorry. Make sure that I get an accurate measurement. Sorry if I'm off, if the camera is off. Okay, 15.95 before I picked up my finger. Okay. Okay, let's get that square. Okay, 1580. Okay, that is a 50-50 centering. Very nice. This card has excellent centering and is gem mint eligible, possibly flawless eligible. Let's start to get to inspecting. Okay, let's give it just the once over. Okay, there appears to be a few dimples, a couple minor dimples visually. All right, so let's actually get this under the magnifying glass. Importantly, I will start with the corners, run down through the edges. As far as the corners and edges all look good. Sharp corners. Edges look good. Okay, so let's inspect the surface now. Start with the light on, of course. There's a minor dimple, top or middle right, center right. Another dimple, bottom left. And looks like a minor surface irregularity, little delaminated spot. Bottom middle. Okay, so that's with the light on. Now let's turn the light off. Again, there's a lot of cards that have like multiple layers, so hitting the light on and light off really helps to see different levels of damage. Some cards come with a bunch of little tiny surface scratches that you don't see upon first inspection. This card does not. This card is clean, other than those few minor dimples. And now I'm checking under my thumb. It's like a minor surface irregularity center. Okay, so let's look at all those minor issues together. So the first one that I saw was this minor dimple just above his basketball or the griffin wing. There's one minor scratch on his shorts. See how that shows up. Might be difficult. There it is. It's much more visible when the light hits it like that. It's a minor dimple down here. Let's and one minor surface irregularity bottom middle beneath his name, Herro. Okay, pretty clean though otherwise. Okay, so let's inspect the back of the card. Okay, light on. Again, I'm going to check the corners. And the edges from the back. They still look sharp. Edges look relatively clean. Okay, now let's inspect the surface. There's one surface irregularity right above his head. Okay. Again, that was the light on. Now I'm checking with the light off. And now I'm checking underneath my thumb. Okay, so there's just the one minor dimple / surface irregularity. It's just above his head. There we go. Stands out in that ring of light, I think. But other than that, the back of the card is clean. Okay, so let's review this card. There was a few minor dimples and surface irregularities on the front and the one on the back. Because of that, this card grades as a mint 9. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. This was a great time grading your cards. Please submit your cards to oggrading.com. It's you can sign up to have your card live graded. There's lots of other features that we carry. Just check them out. I'm not going to go into them here. But thank you again for watching, and have a great night.